Eighth graders, what's going on? This is going to be a little bit of an introduction as to what is going on in class today. I apologize that I am not here. I am in the building, but I'm in a meeting. So, this is the beginning or launch of our summative, which is like a two-part summative. It will consist of a plan sheet, and it will also consist of a actual app that you're going to make. And I'll show you a little bit about what that looks like here in a second. So first things, greetings. It is Super Bowl week. I did not type this, but probably would agree with. You will not be using computers today. It is about the 13th day. We're going to be planning our app. If this is a summative, a two-part summative. I'll share with you the rubrics. I'll show you some examples. And that should just about do it. This won't apply to you, and when I'm talking, you're not. So during this video, make sure you're paying attention. Learning target today is, or next Monday, our plan sheet is due. For you, that's going to be Tuesday, so note that. First, that's this. So our summative, you will all get a sheet of paper that is going to look like this, and this sheet of paper is going to help us to plan our app. It is in 4 sections. The first section right here, what is it, or describe, excuse me, how the lessons in class influence your app design and what you think and how you think people will use your app. So what is it about your app that will make people want to use it, or that will keep using it, or that makes it engaging? And when we take a look at the rubric here in a second, that'll make a little bit more sense, I hope. The second part down here is just, I'm asking you to come up with 3 ideas for your app. And so a name of the app, and then an app icon, and that would be like the Instagram app that you see on your phone with like the colors and the camera, or it would be Snapchat with the ghost that's yellow, so on and so forth. But the icon you see on your phone, your iPad, your device, whatever, that's the app icon sketch. And then just a description or purpose of the app, like what does it do? What's its objective? The third part is which of the apps above are you going to choose to actually work through and make in class, and why? Based off of what we did in class, how is that going to help you? It's important as you do this not to over plan. It's easy to say, I want to do all this stuff, but if you're not sure how to get it to that point, just be aware of your abilities as you're planning. Lastly, the fourth part of this is choose one of the app ideas from the other side paper, plan and sketch out which each different background of the app will look like and what the icons or buttons will look like. I'm looking for at least 4 backgrounds. Each background must have a purpose. That could be like an introduction, directions, some credits, and each page must have a minimum of 2 buttons, or like 2 things that you interact with. It doesn't necessarily have to be buttons. So again, app icon and then a description. That's basically from the front page. And then we have the backgrounds, like what am I actually going to see when I look at that? What does this background look like? What does this background look like? A description of, so if it's like the title screen, then the purpose would be like this is the title screen. If this is instructions, it's like this is instructions to tell you what to do. So on, like third and fourth. So if we take a look at the idea, your goal is to plan and create a working app that fulfills some basic human need for entertainment or productivity. The role, you're a young and up-and-coming app designer looking to make a nice little profit by creating a viral app that people will need to have. Do you remember Trivia Crack? You might not. It was a couple years ago. But that was huge, and then it was gone. Just like Flappy Bird, huge, and then gone. Audience, the general public. This will be current middle school students who will play or use your app. Situation, you'll have about 8 days to plan, design, and create a working prototype for your app. You will need to complete the plan sheet. That's the what I just showed you. I don't think I'll have a calendar, but plan sheet, and then use the online scratch coding program to create a beta test version, read that as test version of your app. Lastly, product. Students will be creating or programming a beta prototype app that they would potentially be able to promote and sell. So here's some examples. Down here, this is an example of a student's work previously, and I will just point out this is like for top level marks. So we have up here, we have answers, we have the name of the apps, we have the app icon, we have what is the goal, the purpose of the app. Here, which of the above apps we'll be using. She goes through which one did she choose and why. And then this is what's probably maybe the most important. So we have app icon, same as the other side. Description, same as the other side. But here we have the actual plan or layout of it. So I know that when I start her app, slam the door, there's going to be a play button here. I know that the next screen after I click on that is going to be some directions. Now, it doesn't have to look just like this. It could change, but this is the idea that we're working towards. Level 1, there's going to be some houses with some ghosts and a star, and then final level, more houses. So let's take a look at what hers actually looked like. So if I go up here, let's see, I actually have it already open. So here it is. Slam the door. Click the flag. So there's that play button. Oh, listen to that soundtrack. Play. How to play. Press space to shuffle the doors. If you click the correct door, the one that holds a star, click the star to go to the next level. Click the up arrow to open the doors before you shuffle them. So I click the up arrow. That's in the middle. Okay. Oops, I clicked it again. Spacebar. Everything is shuffled up. Okay. Where is that star? Was it this one? No. Ghost. Try again. Was it this one? Hey, there's a star. I click on it. And probably have to start over. Click. Down. Over. Click. Click. I know the star's there. Ah, that's what I was looking for. Click to level 2. So here's our level 2. So on and so forth, and it's the same kind of idea. But I share this with you as an example of what I'm expecting or looking for out of you. Does it have to work perfectly? No. But what is important is that it's all your own work. And so this student, all her own work here, these houses, this level, everything matched. Her plan sheet over here. She went a little bit beyond what was on her plan sheet, but that is how it works. So keep this in mind in the future as what we'll be using to build our app with. Just to show you a couple other examples from other students' projects in the past. Here's one. This is a classic. This is from Charlie Harper. This is Henry's brother. It is a Blair Walsh simulator, and those of you might remember he had a pretty significant missed field goal a while back. So we click the flag. Let's see. Press up arrow to continue. So space to kick, right arrow to go to the next slide. So there's the arrow moving back and forth, and I press the space bar when it's in the middle, and it misses probably every time, I believe. So kind of like a little shot there at Blair Walsh, but kind of funny maybe at the same time. Right arrow goes to the next slide. Now that you lost the game, season's over, you can go to the beach and party. P to turn up. So yet another example of a student project. He's got all the backgrounds, everything's working, everything is looking on point here. Let's see. Here is another one. So this is just like a real straightforward, and this is going to be click space if you do. So this idea, there's all this coding. We got some backdrops, some arrows. The thing with this one, click spacebar, and I click spacebar, and in this situation, a train comes up. So does this app really have anything to do? Not a ton, but I can tell you that this kind of reflected what was on his sheet that he was working through. And so even though it's not awesome, he still is control and did all of his own work. So this is looking good and on point. And then lastly, I'll just show you one other one. Let's see if we can get this to go here. So cycles through, login, intro. The rabbit is triggered. So the idea here is you got to jump over these little things. You got to collect some carrots. And this was one that a kid did in class. Just full disclosure, he's a sophomore this year, high school. Power up. Oh Oh man, that bunny is in beast mode right now. So, yet another example of a student project. All of these projects, well done. They're all working the way they're supposed to. And you'll find that sometimes they're working and sometimes they're not. I'm just going to stop this real quick. So one thing, I'll just show you the coding for this real quick, just because kids are always kind of fascinated by that. But so here's the code. Runs. Is all pretty impressive coding. But then we get to this very last piece. It's not this one. Right here. And this just gives you an idea of like the depth of this code. So there's a lot going on here. And I wouldn't expect this out of a typical 8th grade project, but it is a good one nonetheless. And so I'll share that with you. The next thing we'll just take a peek at real quick here is the rubrics that I'm going to use to grade these right here. So the sheet of paper that you're going to get, which is Criterion B, the plan sheet. I'm looking for you to develop your design specification that outlines the successful criteria. So what is it about your app that'll make it successful, that people want to play it? Give me a range of feasible design ideas that can be correctly interpreted by others. Present the chosen design and outline for the reasons of its selection. So which of those 3 did you choose and why? And then right here, develop accurate planning, drawings, and diagrams, and outline the requirements for the creation of the chosen solution. And that is what goes back to this part right here. This is what I'm looking at for that 4th objective. Is, does this match what you did? Yes, no. If you changed it, why did you end up having to change it? And then for when I look at grading your actual app itself, there's 4 parts to that as well. Construct your logical plan. I'll kind of work off of your plan sheet for this one. But really, I'm going to be looking at this one right here. Demonstrate excellent technical skills when making your solution. So when you make your app, did you do most of your coding? Does it work the way it's supposed to? Did you design the backdrops or the backgrounds? How much effort did you put into it? I don't expect it to be perfect or flawless, but just think about how does it reflect your skills and what you did in class. Last 2 things, follow your plan to create the solution as intended. So that again kind of goes back to that idea of the back of your sheet, and does your actual app match the sheet itself? And then lastly, just present the solution as a whole, which is what I was just showing you some examples of that right there. The very last one I wanted to just kind of peek at real quick. I think it's going to be right here. It is. I mean, I have a bunch of these from kids from the last 3 years, so if you have one that you want to see, we can for sure take a look. But let's see. This is going to be Ben Farley's sister Grace. Let's see if I can find it real quick. So hers is like a maze type of one, and it's not even necessarily a maze, but hers is. Just open this one last hour. Try again. There it is. So here's hers, and it's pretty straightforward. It's just the whole sole objective is to just move this star through this maze to get to this one. But what I like about hers is the design and kind of the colors that she went with. So it doesn't have to be a game. I want to just really impress that upon you, that you don't have to make a game for your app. It could just be like a nice design or something like that that you kind of work or navigate through. It could be a choose your own adventure. It could be a drawing pad storybook. It could be a coloring book. There's a ton of options of things that you could look at in terms of what your app is going to look like. So that said, in class today, you are going to be getting this sheet of paper right here, and I'm asking you to fill it out. Here it is again an example of what it looks like in terms of like a top level expectations. I do expect that the back is colored. You don't have to color the front. If you do, that's awesome, but you don't have to. But if you want to get full points on the back with color for an A, that way it really kind of lends a little bit more detail to what your final thing is going to look like. So hopefully that's enough information to get you through the period today. This is the only period you have to work on this in the class. Next week on Tuesday, we will be starting with computers. So make sure that this is done. That is all. If you have any questions, shoot me a message on Schoology. That's probably the fastest way to get a hold of me. Anyway, thanks a lot and have a good day.